I'm going to start this demo by talking about how to hold a drawing instrument. So there is no universal right or wrong way. It all depends on what you're trying to achieve in your drawing. So here I have a piece of charcoal and I'm holding it on its very end, which doesn't give me a lot of control over how hard I press. Now I have it in a fist, which just feels really awkward. And when you start to change how you hold it, you will get different results and feel inclined to make different marks. Now for the purposes of our class, we're doing these representational or realistic drawings, if you will. We're going to use two different kinds of grips. One of them is the writing grip, and this is great for tiny little details in your drawing and not much else really. In this grip, it's the finger joints that are moving the charcoal mostly. So I'm going to switch to what I'd like you to think of as the drawing grip. In this grip, the finger joints are not moving anymore, and it's really the shoulder and the elbow that are moving the charcoal around. Okay, so let me pause this video for a second here so you can see how I'm holding it. I have my fingers wrapped around the charcoal, and then the index finger is what's controlling the pressure. So with this grip, you can do a lot, and I'd like you to get used to holding it this way all the time. Here I'm switching to my left hand so you can see what that looks like if you're left-handed. Try to get used to this. You might have to have someone watch you or record yourself at first in the first couple of weeks of drawing. So start with just two simple lines. You're going to make the absolute lightest line you can do and then the darkest one. And for the dark one, if you press really hard, your charcoal might break, and that's okay. The point here is to figure out exactly how hard you need to press to reach that extreme without breaking the charcoal. So you might have to try a few times. Once you feel comfortable with this, let's move on to varying the pressure. So this is where it gets a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to draw a series of waves, and the peaks of the waves are going to be a lot lighter, and then the dips are a lot darker. So basically I'm using those two extremes, but I'm varying between the two. And the goal and the challenge here is to create a very gradual transition. This is excellent training for you, so you can practice this anytime. If you're on the phone and you feel like doodling, or if you're waiting for something, you'll get a lot out of this exercise. And I recommend trying it also with different materials. So try it with pencils, Conte crayon, colored pencils, basically all the things that you bought for the class. So now I'm going to create two more waves. They're going to have darker peaks and lighter dips. And now I'm going to do the same exact thing, all four of those waves, except the direction is going to be different. So here I'm going towards me, and then I'm going to go away from me. And you can try doing 8 more waves in which they're reversed, so they look more like arches than waves. Okay, if you've had enough practice with this, I'd like you to try something even more challenging. So here you're going to go in many different directions when you change that pressure. So I'm starting in the center, pressing really hard, and then going lighter and lighter towards the outer edges. So as I complete this star, parts of it will feel more awkward than others, especially when I start moving towards the point of the charcoal. And now I'm going to draw the same exact thing, except I'm pressing lighter in the center and darker on the outer edges. So it's a gradual transition again. Now I'd like you to notice just how different these two drawings are. I've drawn the same exact thing basically, but they just look so different based on the pressure. Now I'm doing another star, and here I'm starting on the outer edges and going inward. And here you'll notice that this star has these dots on the outer edges. So even though it's technically identical to the one above it in terms of pressure, because I switched direction, I get these strange little dots. And the reason for that is I'm approaching the paper with the charcoal. I need to figure out where that surface is exactly, and as soon as I touch it, then I can adjust the pressure. So it's a lot easier to start out by pressing really hard and then kind of let go than it is to start out pressing lightly, but both can be useful. If you take a look at the last one, that looks a little different too. Okay, so we've completed our exercises for pressure training, and now I'd like you to focus on joint work. So I'm going to start with a tiny little circle in the center of the paper, and notice how I'm holding the charcoal. I'm holding it in that tripod grip or writing grip. So that's going to be temporary. Here I need my finger joints to draw these tiny little things. As they get bigger and bigger, it starts to feel difficult, and the finger joints just can't extend that far anymore. So I'm going to switch to the drawing grip now. So this grip is really ideal for really long lines that extend across your paper. And by the time I get to a really giant circle, my shoulder is what's doing most of the work. So in this exercise, I'd like you to pay close attention to which joints you are using, and also try to figure out where you feel stuck, where you might need to adjust how you hold the charcoal and how you move your arm.